My favourite memory of sport and physical education at Christ Church.
There is so many memories of great times at Christ Church within sport. It's really hard to narrow it down.
Has to be, for me, first and foremost, working with wonderful students, wonderful staff.
Playing with the hockey team at Christ Church, I've got some really great memories from there.
It felt like you were going out and playing for your mates, or on the sideline of the other sports cheering on your mates.
When we heard London 2012 was where the next Olympics were going to be.
Leading the residential visits to the Kent Mountain Centre in Wales. I'm Paul Carney. I'm the Director of Sport and Active Health here at Canterbury Christ Church University, and I've been involved with the university for over 20 years. I joined as a senior lecturer in physical education, and I've had a number of different roles while I've been here, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. Putting together this exhibition was a real journey back in time, and it was ever so interesting to see how physical education sport evolved at the university.
I'm Sue Piotrowski. I'm an emeritus professor of the university. I was involved in the development of sport here for 32 years, and I retired in 2014. So I was here initially part-time from 1982 to 1986. During that time I was a lecturer in what was called movement studies, very enjoyably working alongside Dr. Andy Balsden.
I joined the university in 1985, and at that time I was appointed as lecturer in movement studies. Bob Pearton started the movement studies degree in 1982.
After a few years I was principal lecturer. Initially, again, it would have been movement studies. Movement studies becomes sports science in about 1989, 1990, that sort of time.
By 1990 we were moving towards sports science. We were already teaching many subjects allied to sports science in movement studies, but the curriculum for movement studies was very practical based, practical sport based. The agenda was to move practical sport as part of a degree off the examination program. So we then had to build new modules in order to facilitate new experiences for the students.
We have a wonderful heritage in academic provision here at the university. Through physical education and movement studies, through to sports science. It's a wonderful basis for us to build our extracurricular sport programs on, whether that's playing recreationally, going to our gym, in one of our sports teams, or even taking part in varsity. But Ian Blackmore would be able to tell you more about varsity than I could.
I'm Ian Blackmore. I studied at Christ Church in 94 to 97, and I studied single honours history. During that time I was second team captain of men's rugby president, and then stood for election for an extra year as the vice president of the student union looking after sport. During my time as vice president of the student union, I helped create the sports SAB role, and we helped establish, set up varsity as what is now an amazing event. I think it's great that we've got some key things in the annual calendar now that obviously at some point had to be established. And you go right back to the early days where the first generation was setting up things like basketball, cricket, football, when there's only 60 of them in the institution. And those clubs, it's great that their history goes all the way back there. But sort of rolling forward, things like the formation of varsity in 1998, and it was a men's rugby first team game against UKC under the floodlights at Canterbury Rugby Club. That game still runs to this day, 20 odd years later. But after a couple of years of that, in 2002, everyone realised what a great idea, and that's when varsity grew to be the event it is today, and the other sports got involved. And now if you look at it, both institutions, both students' unions, all of the students is such a vital part of Canada.
Varsity is a key key date in the diary for all of our sporting students. It's an opportunity where our students probably play in front of bigger crowds than they'll ever get to experience any other time in their sporting careers. There have been some really wonderful events, wonderful fixtures. Winning the cricket last year was a real highlight, and I've witnessed some truly memorable performances over the years.
With things like varsity, we establish links that go across generations, and even to this day I'm establishing friendships by mentoring the current men's and women's rugby team and looking after the other sports when it comes to those big events, that you feel that you're almost an ever-expanding family of Christ Church.
I've always seen my role and the service we offer to be about people and building relationships. I think it's vitally important that we understand that people are at the heart of everything that we do, and it enables me and our team to design and deliver a service that really meets their needs. So we aim to really connect with our students and our staff, but more than that, we aim to connect with our external community too.
One of the memories I have of the pre-2005 teaching and experiences was very much linked to the local facility. And again, the local facilities for teaching purposes and for health and well-being for Christ Church students and for staff at that time were pretty limited, really.
In 2004, I became Pro Vice Chancellor Academic, and in terms of how that role still continued to be involved in the development of sport, it was particularly to do with partnership working, and I would work very, very closely from 2004 with Polo Farm, and we were looking to see how the university could really take advantage of their sports facilities and to see if we could build a partnership between us, so very early days. In the initial stages, there was talk that we would put our sports facilities at Polo Farm. Although it would be wonderful to make use of those facilities, I was aware of how tight the timetabling is for physical education students, sports science students that might have to go from one lecture to another. So I was thinking, how could we have a sports facility much, much closer to the footprint of the main campus?
And as the student population grew, I remember going to the SMT and saying, we really do need a sports centre. And several times the conversation happened. And
so following a conversation I had with the then Vice-Chancellor, Professor Michael Wright, I went across to speak to Dr. Manning, the head teacher of Barton Court Grammar School, and asked if it would be possible that he would allow us to have land from the school. If that was possible, the university would fund the building of a sports centre, which would be big enough to be able to accommodate the students of the school using it, as well as our own students of the university. And I'm extremely pleased to be able to say that yes, he did agree to that land.
And then Michael Wright agreed £5 million, and so to get a sports centre at Barton Court School as a partnership or association, Sue Petrosky went to the Privy Council to release the land on that field for us to have a sports hall.
At the time the sports centre was completed, I was still teaching physical education on our PE and sport and exercise science degree, and it made a huge difference to the experience for our students. Roll forward a few years to the development of the Verena Homes building and the amazing new sports lab facilities. Our current students have better access than any other students in the history of the university.
And that triggered some very important things, because that was around about 2007 when we heard London 2012 was where the next Olympics were going to be. So as part of that journey, we built the sports centre, which was completed and opened in 2010 by Dame Kelly Holmes. We'd already started the sports scholarship scheme, because I said that's something that's absolutely essential for the growth and development of our students, where we had young people that would come to develop their sporting and academic goals.
Our sports scholarship program started in 2008 and we've supported many young athletes over the years. They get a really excellent experience and are supported in both their studies and their sporting ambitions. We've had some amazing scholars over the years. We've supported literally hundreds. Two of our most recent and most successful would be Gloria Hooper and Grace Balsden, who both went to the Tokyo Olympics.
I'm Grace Balsden. I went to Christ Church from 2011 to 2014. I studied physical education and sport and exercise science, and I was a sports scholar for hockey. Being a scholar was really valuable. I was trying to break into the senior hockey programme at the time, and I remember the support given to me as a kind of sports scholar was invaluable. You know, the goal setting, the making sure I was on top of things, asking if I need any help, just setting really good, you know, plans for when I needed help with work and extensions. You know, they're always there helping me and making sure that I was getting everything that I needed. And I don't think I would have probably finished my degree if I hadn't had that support as a scholar. So yeah, for me it was really, really invaluable. Going to my first ever Olympic Games and just being there was amazing. Making it to the bronze medal match and then scoring in the winning goal in the bronze medal final, it was, I don't think I can ever put into words how proud that makes me feel. It makes me choke up even thinking about it. So probably, oh my God, probably my Olympic medal is my favourite because I think that's one of the world stages and I'm so proud of myself. It weighs more and it feels lovely in your hands. But a Commonwealth Games gold in your home country, this was really special because unlike Tokyo, there were people in the crowd, there were friends and family. I've got so many messages in support for the Commonwealth Games, which hadn't experienced before, in a multi-sport as well. So, to be honest, my favourite is the Tokyo bronze, but the Commonwealth Games, I don't think I'll ever have a moment like that again where I'm at home in front of a home crowd and winning a tournament was just something I will never forget.
It's great that alongside this sport, alongside the Bucks fixtures, alongside varsity, we also celebrate sport. So the things that jump out are like the scholar meals at the dinners and awards at the end of the year. Really important to look at those elite players that have come through and deserve scholarships. And now we're talking about a huge event, hundreds of people. But it's a great way that as an institution we can celebrate the players and the teams and recognise their achievements every year. And also we get to sort of think back and remember those that aren't with us anymore. With awards such as the Phil Ganley Award for the greatest fresher of every year, the person that's really sort of just arrived and gone on to do good things, and the Mark Burgess Award for services to rugby, where we remember Mark every year. Those sort of things are great, and I think it's traditions like that that really stand us apart.
I think evidence of how we're able to build that bond with students and really build that community around Christ Church is the number of people who study here as students and then come back to work. If you take a look at our exhibition, you'll see a number of faces on there who were students here first, and within the academic teams and the Sport and Active Health department, again there are a number of people who studied here as students and now work and give back to our students and staff. Our team has grown. It's still incredibly small for the size of the offer that it provides our university, and I think that's why it's been recognised both within the university and externally, with winning some national awards such as the Physical Activity Excellence Award, which is awarded by Bucks. My ambition when I became the Director of Sport was to ensure that we had a first-class university sport and physical activity service that was inclusive, was progressive and met the needs of all students. There is so much more I could talk about. I've been here for 20 of the university's 60 years, and putting this exhibition together has been a real learning journey. The next 60 years, well, I won't be here for the rest of that. But what I hope is when I do decide to move on, if I decide to move on, is that the service is in such a state that it will be very easy for somebody to take over and continue delivering great experiences to students and staff. And we have some really exciting plans. We want to continue improving the experience for our students, our staff, and the community of people that we work with. I wonder what will happen next.